Okay, TradingView, good morning. It is 10:37 Central Standard Time. My name is Chris Salora, and this is the first stream that I've done in a long time. Put a video on yesterday, but it was just the upper left-hand corner of my screen. I was trying to stream from the app, and it just wasn't working as well as I thought it would. So anyway, hopefully you can all see my entire screen. I think it's set up the right way because I'm streaming from within a browser. But anyway, here we go. So what you're looking at here, guys, on the left-hand side is a weekly candlestick chart with a weekly McKinley average. What you're looking at on the right side is a 4-hour candlestick chart with a 4-hour McKinley average. And what we're going to do is just define on both the weekly and the 4-hour, we're going to look at supply and demand levels. So we're looking for big areas, big moves in price on the weekly, big moves in price on the 4-hour and lower time frames. And we're basically taking advantage of that. We're defining the trend based upon whether supply or demand is being respected or not. So if demand zones, places where we're expecting buyers, are being violated, are being broken through, well, then that suggests that the sellers in the market are strong. If the sellers, the areas where we're expecting to find sellers, the supplies levels, if those are being broken through, we are assuming that the bulls are in control of the market. So we are strictly looking at price levels. I do have the averages on there just to help, just to say like, hey, here's a level. Oh, wow. And the average happens to be in that level. That just kind of adds confirmation to, just gives me a little bit more confidence in the level. So I'm dealing with a little bit of a nasal thing this morning. So if I sound a little nasal, I apologize for that. But anyway, plan here is just to go through my watch list. We won't look at all of my watch list. Like we're not going to look at, China, and, maybe we'll briefly touch on it, but basically is just to go through my watch list. And I'm just going to basically be identifying supply and demand levels. We'll get on the cryptos last. And that's it. I'll try to answer questions as I see them come along. A quote for the S&P 500. Numbers might be slightly off if you're looking at something else. But everything that's on here is all quoted by Owanda. So just throwing that out there. So anyway, we see weekly supply here. We've got an all-time high here. I'm not just going to go ahead and sell an all-time high. I will, wait until price drops down into demand and just continue buying into the uptrend that's there. You can see here, guys, like these levels really are pretty honest. You can see a supply level here, but it's my practice usually not to take the one that's below the top of the market, especially if I were to go short. But I would take something up here and I have a stop out there if I were to go short. I'm not even going short here, so I wouldn't have even taken this. But you can see how honest these levels are a great majority of the time. So anyway, on the S&P 500, we see demand here. You can even make an argument. We can put some demand here. There's definitely demand there. There is definitely demand here. And that's getting closer. As you can see where I put those gray lines on the left, that's getting closer down into our weekly demand. There's demand levels just all up and down here. So take your pick. But be mindful that if we break through here, okay, now if we want to get to these lower levels, we'll have to have broken through this big demand level. So really, this is the level, guys. This is the level right now to keep your eyes on. What's going to happen in this level? Is the S&P 500 going to come down and then kind of maybe move sideways and shoot for that all-time high, right? Or is it going to break down, right? That's the question. Or is it going to look something like this? Maybe get a bounce from demand, meet some sellers up here, and then we continue down. We'll see. Okay, it's yet to be said. All right, but this is the demand level in play on the S&P 500. Okay. Um, NASDAQ looks pretty much the same. You can see how honest this level is. Okay. Nice move away. Short time at the zone. Got a nice down move there. Right into, you can argue close to some demand down here and then rallied. So price just kind of bounces in and out of these levels, guys. US 30, just kind of looks to be topping out possibly. We'll have to see what happens with this demand down here. Okay, that's the next demand zone there. And then there is huge demand down here. But again, be mindful that by the time we get down here, we will have broken through here. We will have broken through whatever exists down here. So just be careful out there. All right. Be careful out there. Let me see. Did I take away my... Okay. The Russell, same thing. Obviously, this is small cap stock, so it looks a little weaker than the others. Usually, it's a leading indicator for the other ones. If I mean, you can see it. Look, I mean, the S&P is close to meeting an all-time high. Russell's all-time high is all the way up here, and we're nowhere close on the Russell. So, small stocks maybe giving an indication. I don't know. So, but anyway, weekly supply up here, weekly demand, really nice weekly demand here. Really nice weekly demand zone right here. And that also lines up, as you can see, this also lines up very well with this zone here. So I would be very surprised if we did not get some upward action from this weekly supply, this demand down here. Be very surprised if we didn't. Euro stocks looking very similar. You can see with most of these equity markets, they're all going to kind of have the same sort of shape and even the same sort of supply and demand levels. So FTSE, China's in a meltdown. Maybe going to turn around sometime. I don't know. But this is melting. China is melting down. And that is also going to drag the Aussie down as well. The Chinese market is not the Australian currency. The Australian currency is not the Chinese market, so it's not like you're trading them. They are distinct, but this one is going to have a big effect on the Aussie. Singapore, I like to just look at these exotic markets just to take a look and see what's out there. Japan, wow, what's going on in Japan? Like, damn. I don't know. I don't really follow Japanese news very well, but I bet there was some big, something big was said this week. I don't know. I know that they were thinking about reversing or possibly, taking a step towards, just a different step from their super low, even negative interest rates, like decades long. They've been doing and that strengthened the yen a lot. Obviously, that put a little bit of a damper on the Nikkei. Okay, I think that came out. That was probably one of this down move here. But anyway, something going on in Japan. Looks like a pretty solid uptrend there. So looking good on the 4-hour. We got some solid demand here and some really solid demand down there. Really nice price moves. Okay, some pretty good conviction down at those levels. Australian market. Okay, got some of these levels identified for you. We're going to really get into it when we get into the currencies, though, so don't worry. Gold in a pretty nice, strong uptrend. Obviously, this is tied to what's fueling this is the expectations of the rate cuts from the Fed in the future. I've got a demand level down here. This is, I think, on a 2-hour chart. Yeah. So on a 2-hour chart, you can see a strong move up in price. This little candle price kind of took a little bit of a breather there. And we had this other 2-hour period where it's just a little boom. You can see price in the next candle, the next 2 hours kind of touched it, came back and wanted to touch it, but just missed it. So I'm saying that down in this area, I'd probably put a stop somewhere down here, just a little bit more, a little wider stop. But if price can break through this consolidation, um, go down here, I think we might catch a bid. Especially because if price does get back down here, here's what I'm saying, guys. So let's say if price just maybe kind of did something like this, maybe put it a new high, okay, and then came down here. I'm saying that we probably are going to see some upward action there to kind of continue the trend. And what I'm saying, you guys, is that by the time the price comes down here, all things considered, this average here, it will also be below the average. Whoa, what happened there? Price will also, by that time, price will also be below the average. And that to me is an indication that the thing is the 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 thing you're looking at itself is actually cheaper, is super cheap, right? When we're in when we're in the context of an overall uptrend on the higher time frame, and then we get, like, look at when the price is down below the average, right? You can see that when it's below the average, we get these jumps back up, right? Now, some people might look at this and say, well, it's in a downtrend. And they're right. They're right. It is in a downtrend. See, there's some supply here that's holding. Okay, supply holds. Boom. But you can see, like, once the price is down below here, and now especially since the price has really swung back up. Anyway, this is the move I'm looking for. I don't want to get too lost in the weeds here, but I'm just going to try to stick to simple supply and demand. Don't worry too much about the averages. You can see this one held pretty well. Okay, but now we've touched this supply zone 2 times. So let's see what happens when price gets back down there. See if we get a nice little jump. Excuse me, everyone. I have to blow my nose. Oh. Getting there. Oh, nice. All right, 2 people. Awesome. You 2 guys are the best. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you. I hope you learned something. Hope you get something from this. Hope it's a good, fresh perspective for you. So, anyway, that's gold. Similar setup on silver. Okay, you can see on that 2-hour zone down there. All right. 2-hour zone down there. Palladium, don't really do anything with this. I think there's a correlation with the British pound or something, or maybe there was. Maybe that's platinum. I don't know. I just threw it on here. I just like to look at markets and identify zones, so it's there. Copper. Now this one does have some correlation with the Chinese market, and I would say even by extension the Australian market as well. It is a commodity. China is heavily dependent on commodities. A lot of manufacturing there. That manufacturing depends on commodities, and those commodities, affect their economy and Australia's economy. So copper is definitely a good one to look at if you want to get a good idea of possibly where China might turn around, and also by extension, how it might affect the Australian dollar. So there is copper for you. West Texas crude WTI price came into a nice weekly demand down here. You can see a nice push up by price, and here we're just kind of chopping around, very, very choppy on the 4-hour, but you can see that the 4-hour is holding it's holding its demand zones. So you could say that this was demand. Okay, price came down, respected it. Okay, moved out. All right, now that's that one. Now demand is formed here. Okay, price moved up, came back down, respected it here. Okay, price moved up, came down, and so far it is respecting it here. And all in the process, you can see this average that's cutting through here. It's kind of flattening out and we're going to see if it's going to continue up. So I'm actually, being that we're so low on the supply and demand curve here, and being that we're starting to see more candles above the 4 hour average, um, I'm feeling quite bullish about oil going into this next week. So yeah, and especially with all the stuff going on in the Middle East, whenever there's threats to, I don't know, whenever they're talking about oil and that whole, supply chain, all that jazz, I don't really follow it too closely, but whenever there's talk about that, that usually does drive oil prices up. So Brent, same story. Natural gas. Again, I actually don't trade these. I just want to make it clear. I don't trade anything. I don't trade the markets. I don't trade the metals here. I don't trade the energy here. I don't even trade the bonds. All I do is trade forex and crypto. But I'm keeping these in mind because they're all correlated to other markets. Okay. And so anyway, that's that. Awesome. I see 2 people in here. Oh, 0 people in here. All good. We're going to just stream this anyway. But thank you all for joining. It's amazing. I love doing this, and I'll do it even if there's nobody in here. Doesn't matter to me. All right. So, bonds. Bonds. So, bonds heading lower. Bonds definitely heading lower in terms of supply and demand. Pretty honest so far. Got demand here, got supply here. You can see price reacting. 30-year bonds are, you want to keep an eye on bonds because bond yield. You want to keep an eye on bond yield because bond yield is correlated with interest rate expectations. Somebody with a finance degree can give you a much better answer than I can. But I have realized just from looking at charts, there is a correlation between bond yield and interest rate expectations. Okay, so what that means is that as the Fed is talking about hiking interest rates, the bond market is going to speculate and probably buy. And the bond yield will probably go up in those seasons. Now, since we've started talking about possibly being at the end of a cycle and possibly looking at 3 cuts this year, going back to, again, the beginning of the quarter, let's say right around here, around the beginning of October, right? You can see that this correlates very well with the rally in the stock market. You see that? So stock market, takes a little bit of a dinger here. Okay. Then we start talking about how we might be at the end of a rate hiking cycle and we're starting to cut. Lo and behold, we start buying into that. And then inversely, the bonds start to sell off. The yield starts to sell off, right? So keep your eyes on bonds to get a better idea of where interest rate expectations are going. So here's the Bund. Okay, if you want to do that same process with the euro, where's the euro? I mean, looking at this, it's the opposite story, right? You can see there's demand zones here on the higher time frame, and it looks like the euro, if anything, this 10-year yield on the Bund is looking like it's heading up. So be careful with shorting that euro if they're expected to maybe hike rates. So keep that inflation down. So we'll see. Anyway, Dixie, the dollar, this is weighted against the euro. We've got supply here, weekly supply here, weekly supply up here. So far, doing pretty good holding this weekly demand down here. Okay. On the 4-hour chart, we've got some demand here. I want to see if that holds. Is price going to eventually move down, and then are we going to get a bounce from that level? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Obviously, we don't want that to happen. That would, if we had a trade. Is price going to do something like that? I don't know. We'll have to see. All depends on news, numbers. Someone comes out and says something. We'll just have to see. Okay. US dollar looking quite similar. Doing a great job of respecting its supply, but definitely still very sideways, as you can see. Holding supply, holding demand, holding supply, holding demand. It's like the market is very tight between the buyers and sellers, and they're both respecting each other for now. And that kind of gives us a fair value price right here around 12,880. Supply up here, demand down here. We'll just have to see if we can break out of this range, what happens. Euro USD, pretty much a picture of the Dixie, right? Again, sideways. We've got supply up here. We've got some really nice demand down here. I really like this demand for a couple reasons. This demand zone, if you can see, it lines up very well. This left chart, at least right now, it lines up very well with this weekly average. Okay. We are in the context of an uptrend. Lines up well with the average. It is a very powerful move away. So I do like this demand down here, but there's a lot that can happen before we get down there, so we will just have to see. Pound, respecting its demand, also respecting its supply, so quite sideways. It isn't in this like kind of feeble uptrend. I don't mess with this. I'm just gonna wait for price to break in one direction. If we break to the upside, if we do something like this, make a new high, and then continue going like this, I will buy into this trend here. But first, I really want to see this high broken. I'm not going to go short in this zone. I'm just labeling it. I just got an alert there, so I know when price is in there, just to see how the price reacts. But if we ultimately wind up breaking through it, I will take a pullback and enter and go higher, because the higher time frame chart is in an uptrend. So we do have weekly demand down here, but we are in an uptrend. It's kind of a weird, slow, steady uptrend, but there's just a little bit too much congestion in here for me to do anything. And I just want to see more conviction out of this pound and more weakness out of the dollar before I join this uptrend. If we break lower, we have demand down here. I don't know if I'll take this just, set and forget, just kind of set an order to buy, put a stop loss in. I would not probably take this as a set and forget level. What I would do is I would wait for price to come down into the level, see what kind of bounce we get out. Obviously, I wouldn't want to see that. Well, actually, even if it did that, that would be okay, because I'm not even in the trade. And then what I would do is I would go in here and I'd look for a level. I'd look for a demand level that would form somewhere in here on the way out of the level. Okay. Hope that makes sense. That's how I would play that. But that level is pretty far away. I mean, we're trading at 27.5 right now. This is at right around the 25 levels. So good, 200 pips away. So yeah, nothing to really do here. Aussie trade I'm currently in, just barely still in. Made a nice rally, kind of turned around. Okay. Price came very close to stopping me out, but turned around yesterday, kind of mid-afternoon. What is this? Yeah, yesterday, this thing just like turned around suddenly. Mid-afternoon, what am I talking about? About 9 o'clock. Yeah, it came very close, but then 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, into the afternoon, it really started to turn around. So we'll see. Obviously, this is dependent on dollar strength. Maybe the Chinese weakness, over the weekend is going to help. But definitely want to see this continue down. For my benefit, I have a 2 and a 4 to 1 on this one. But this demand down here looks like gold. This is a very strong move away. just 4 hours in the zone, just a clean level. I really like this, and it's also within the context of this uptrend, and it's also, again, sitting right where right now the weekly average is. Okay, so if we get a nice move down this week, at the beginning of the week, I like this level. I like this level. As far as news goes, the 15th, we've got Westpac Consumer. That might move the Australian dollar. U.S. news, retail sales, building permits. Nothing too huge. Michigan consumer expectations. So, yeah, there's some news that could push it down to that level, but we'll see. All right. So I really like this level, though. Really like that one. We'll see. Anything can happen. Okay. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD on the weekly. We're getting up into this. We're getting up into this weekly supply. So if this thing continues to pierce up through here, there's a nice 4-hour level here. Really nice 4-hour level right there. Not sure if I would take this 4-hour. I would probably break it down. I'd probably go into this level. If I were to take this level, I would probably break it down 3-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour, 30-minute. Yeah, I might take something like this. I might just kind of go like that. This is a 30-minute. But it's a 30-minute within a 4-hour within a weekly. Okay? Now this I might get a little conservative with the stop and go 36. I put my stop at 36. You could also look at it this way. You could also actually put an order in here above this candle and kind of trade the 36 level, trade the 36 whole number, and do something like that. And the logic here is that there's got to be some kind of supply up here. It might not look like it's there, but there's got to be some kind of supply here, because look at how close the market came to this 36 level. Couldn't really hit it. And look at where the level is on the weekly. It's like right at the top of this whole zone. So you could do something like that. I usually don't take trades like that. I usually stick to where I know the supply is. But I've seen it happen a lot where price will break through this level. It'll hit like a whole number or something, and then it'll turn around when it gets to that whole number, because that's the level that the algorithm, that the bank or whatever, that's the level that is being traded, that 36 whole number. The market probably, if it makes it all the way up to 50, 35, 82, it's probably going to push up to 36. And then lo and behold, it'll hit 36. The algo will kick in and be like, whoop, and it'll start to sell off. So we'll just have to see. Okay, so yeah, I got some room to run. We have some room to run. Just have to see what happens. Dollar peso. Okay, dollar peso, again, with the strength in oil. Okay, so the peso is tied closely with oil. If I believe that oil is bottoming out and heading higher, that means that I want to be buying the peso, aka shorting the dollar against the peso. So I have this level, this demand zone. I have it marked out. I did not take it, but I want to see this. I want to see this demand zone bring us back up here, and I want to go short here. Okay, I want to go short up here, because I think we might be channeling down and then maybe get a break lower. Because on the Mexican peso, we do have some nice demand on the weekly down here. Like we got to get down there, but that's decent demand there. Okay, 2 nice weeks, just below some consolidation. So there is some demand down here. Okay. The dollar Sing, Yeah, I actually haven't taken a trade on this yet. I just added it to my watch list. I got some supply up here. I would take that if market gets back up there. And demand down here. Just with the weakness in the dollar, I'm just going to see how this one plays out. Okay. But demand here, supply up here. Okay. And a lot of this, as you guys can see, I've got these levels already drawn out. And part of me getting on here is just so you can see where, how some people, another person who's traded supply and demand could put lines on the chart in a totally different place. That I'm fully aware of that. But really, me getting on here again is just to help you understand how to identify and maybe, oh, he's putting his lines there. Oh, okay. You might have been putting your lines, in places where, like you might put some lines here and define that as supply. And it is supply, but it's not active right now because look, it's just been violated. A lot of times people will identify supply and demand, but they don't identify fresh supply and demand. So fresh supply and demand is where the market, the level is made, but the market has not returned. Like this is a fresh demand level because since the time it was made, you can see here it came close, here it came, since this level was made, the price has not returned there yet. That means it's fresh, okay? This one up here too. You could make the argument that it's not so fresh because of this move right here. So what I'm getting at is that this is the original move, right? This is the original move. Okay, you can make the argument that it's not fresh because look at what happens. You can say that, oh, well, it's not fresh because look, it just touched it right there. But this move is so powerful. It's so robust. This is worth taking another stab at. Okay, price barely came into that level. It's definitely worth taking another shot at. So that's why I would take a shot at this level, depending on the price action. Moving into it. If the price action is chopping, like if we start chopping sideways here, just a couple pips before it, or I don't know, 20 to 30 pips before it, I'm not going to take this level anymore. But if we get a strong move in, that means that I have, buyers down here, sellers up here, and I want to ride it back down. I need to make sure there's good enough profit margin. So if we get a big move, like straight up, boom, straight up, that's good. Okay. That's actually what I want. I want a big, powerful move up because I'm assuming that it's going to, I have this room here as profit. Okay. But if it looks like this, if it kind of moves up, and we kind of trickle in there, that's not what I want to see. That is not what I want to see because there's all sorts of buyers down like the I'm selling here, but then I might have buyers like right here, or I might have buyers like right there or right there. It's just ugly and it's not. I want to just see a swift move up and a swift move down. That's when you're going to find your best trades. Okay, dollar yen. Got some demand here, some weekly demand here. We do have a nice demand zone down here on the 4. Here's our nearest fresh demand, though. Okay, so definitely could look to take this on the weekly chart. Plenty of room here. Oops, sorry. Hold on. And then here on the euro, got 2 demand levels on top of each other. Okay, I've got this demand here, got this demand here. Me and my buddy Ed, we're looking at these and deciding how we want to take it. I think we're going to take each individually. I'm taking each individually. I think he is as well. So we're taking these 2 levels distinctly. Okay, so if the top level winds up not holding and we lose it, we're okay with that. we'll take the bottom one too. Another way you can play this is just to have one stop loss outside. Take an entry here, take an entry here, and have one stop loss. Right? That's another possibility. Okay, and then just take both, and then you would have like a net entry right in between, right in the middle. That's another possibility. Swiss against the yen. I'm currently in this, as you can see. I do want to see the Swiss strengthen against the yen. These two, the euro and the Swiss, kind of move in tandem. The euro, it looks like it's got some room to jump before it gets jumped down before it gets to its demand. So that would not really bode well for the Swiss, but there is another level down here. So there is the Swiss against the yen. Pound against the yen. Demand down here. Demand here. Getting close up here to the weekly supply. Okay, getting close. And this level up here. Yeah, there's a pretty nice supply level up here. Let's see. Let's take a look in. Excuse me. Let's take a look in here. See if there's anything there. Yeah, there's also some decent supply up here too, which is within the weekly supply. So anyway, pound yen definitely in an uptrend, holding this 4-hour McKinley average. Definitely possible to break lower, hit one of these demands, and then get a little jump. But so far, the average is doing the trick. CAD yen also tied to oil. Okay, keep your eyes on oil if you're trading the CAD against the yen. I would love for price to get into this demand, and I would love for it to hold, and I would love for oil to keep in its uptrend and see this one appreciate along with it. So the oil and the CAD yen correlation here may be on. It might be solid. So definitely looking to take that demand there. Aussie, again, also tied to oil, tied to commodities overall. Similar setup to the CAD yen, but you can see here we had some weekly demand here. We don't really have weekly supply. Well, we do have weekly supply up here. I didn't put the lines, but here's weekly supply. Guess I was getting a little lazy. Here is weekly supply. There's weekly supply up there. So just keep your eyes on that if you're going to get long. Dollar Swiss, just trudging along. Kind of like an inverse euro, but not exactly. But again, just dollars moving sideways, but respecting its demand. So it's bearish to, it's bullish to neutral, or neutral to bullish, however you want to say it, here on the dollar. Euro Swiss got an entry here on Friday. Market came in. I like this. We broke through. My main reason for getting long here was that we broke through this supply here. We broke through this supply. We broke through it here. On this move up, we broke through the sellers that were expected here. So this let me know that maybe the buyers are taking over in this market. So the nearest demand, once this got broken through, the nearest demand was down here. So I took it. And it's so far, so just keep my eyes on that. We're getting there. Euro pound coming into weekly demand. Got a decent demand zone down here at the bottom of this weekly zone. We'll just have to see. But the supply, you can see those sellers are holding down this market. This supply zone held, and we are moving down. Euro CAD. I actually had a long here that I wanted to take because you can see the demand there. But the market came down into this demand, okay, pierced below the average, and then really took a jump. I might actually take a stab, you guys. I might actually take a stab at this level. I might actually take a stab at that level. But it kind of goes against the whole strong oil. I'm basically betting that the the euro strength is going to outweigh the CAD strength that's tied to the oil. So we'll just have to see. But that's a possible zone that I'll take. I'm just kind of curious to see if there's anything in there that's good. I don't know. It's okay. I might take it with the confirmation. We'll see. Euro Aussie obeying its supply and demand quite well. There's supply, came right up, came right out, and then looking pretty good here. This demand appears to be holding. Pound CAD, again, moving up on the weekly. Moving up on the weekly. Got some supply up here. We'll have to see what happens there. Pound Aussie, another trade that I'm in. Really nice trade. Very strong uptrend right now. Got some supply up here. So this one has some room to run. But we do also have some supply up here. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled for this level and how price reacts. I'd be surprised if this market just blew through this supply. I think this supply is definitely going to get some action. So we will just have to see. Cryptos. Ooh, cryptos. So Bitcoin had a great week. 10. So good news this week for Bitcoin. I think the SEC did approve it. But here's the thing. Good news doesn't always mean higher prices, especially when there are banks and institutions that are involved in this game. So news comes out, Bitcoin does see some strength, but someone with a suit and a tie looking at a move like this and looking at how expensive Bitcoin got in such a short period of time, that guy in the suit and the tie, who has programmed, made some algorithm to sell positivity or something like that. That guy is gonna hit the sell button, and that's exactly what he or the computer he programmed to do did. That's what happened this week. So I'm actually bearish now. Keep your eyes on the fear and greed index. I think Coin Market Cap has a good fear greed index. Keep your eyes on the fear greed index if you're trading cryptos, because that's going to tell you like how cryptos are such an emotional market, so emotional, so reactive to any kind of news at all. So really keep your eyes on that. Anyway, sticking to supply and demand, we have weekly demand down here. Really no supply up. Well, really no supply up above that we can see on the weekly chart. If we go down to daily, obviously you can see there is supply up here. Okay, this is getting chopped up right now, guys. So I'm not too confident. Price has been down here for a while, so buyers are getting tired down here. So I'm staying short. I think we're gonna head lower down to around the 38,000, possibly even lower. I don't know, but I really don't. This is what typically happens. Retail traders and the world in general will get really excited about something in the crypto world, and then there's a huge sell off, and it's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it makes perfect sense. Those who don't really know a lot about these markets get excited, get emotional, and they basically the other players wind up selling to the people that are excited about things going up, and they're not looking at supply and demand. They're not looking at where the big moves are. They just kind of see the news. They think that they got a good investment, and they wind up buying when something's hot, buying when something's expensive, and selling when something is cheap. It's the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be selling when something is expensive, and you should be buying when something is cheap. So that being said, we got some supply zones here on Bitcoin. This one here, I like this. I think I had to go down to 10-minute here. I like this zone here. I know it is a little aggressive, but these markets move fast, and I also have an average in there. Let me see, 10 minutes? Was it 10 minute? Or was it 5 minute? I might have gone down to, sometimes I go down to really low time frames. 15 maybe? I don't know. 15? Maybe it was 15. I don't know. Maybe I just stuck with the 30, but I definitely refined it a little bit. What did I refine it with? Maybe I refined it with the 5. I don't know. Yeah, I think I was looking at this. Probably looking at this. But no, it's probably on the 10. Yeah, it's the 10. I used the bottom of this candle, the top. Pretty conservative stop loss out here, because even though the level's here, cryptos, they're kind of like, it's kind of like the Wild West out there. So you gotta really anticipate some pretty awkward swings in price. So that's why my stop loss is here at 45,000. I don't think we're going to hit 45,000. I think we'll hit 44. We'll just kind of touch above it, and then we'll see that sell off. That's my call on Bitcoin. I just think that the buyers down here at 42, 41, I think they're just getting tired of pushing this market up. And I think the sellers are definitely going to take control this weekend and into the next week. So maybe that's Bitcoin. Ethereum, a little bit different situation. Ethereum looks a lot stronger, as you can see. Price printing above the average. Here, price printing below. Okay, so Ethereum looking a little bit stronger. Yeah, just a nice move. Solana also looking bearish. Okay, printing below its 4-hour average. Just choppy. I don't really see anything in there. That's why I don't really have anything. Cardano obeying its supply and demand levels very well. Supply up here. Market came up there and made a beautiful move out. We'll see how this demand goes. If this demand holds and we move up higher, might consider getting long on the altcoin. We'll see. Matic as well, obeying supply and demand. Couldn't quite get up to this supply. There is on a smaller time frame up here, I think an hour is a really nice. Yeah, really nice. This is a textbook zone right there. If we get up there, rest assured I will be going short depending on the price action on the way up. So demand down here, supply up here, just kind of holding steady, very choppy in the Matic market right now. Oh, Binance coin. Okay, so this demand got blown through. Price is now rallying back up to the average. And it looks like I've got, I think, a 30-minute. Yeah, so 30-minute here. We'll have to see what happens in the next couple hours here with this. Perhaps Binance coin will come up here and maybe kick off the sell-off, lead off the sell-off if these supply levels are going to hold. Okay, we'll have to see. I've got my eyes here, and I've got my eyes on this one above it. I think I've got orders in for both. Yeah, on the 15-minute. Yeah, so looking good there. Looking good. 2 people. Yeah. How you guys doing? Are you enjoying this? I hope it's helpful. I'm not looking to get 1,000 people on these live streams. I'm just a guy with some charts. Hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully you enjoy it. But we're getting close to the end here. Ripple. Now this is a nice supply zone here. Lines up very well with support becoming resistance. So this is a good supply zone. But however, this Ripple, look at this uptrend. It's just been in a pretty solid uptrend. So I'm not really too keen on going short here, especially since it's not at the edge. But even at the edge, I'm just not sure. Just not sure about going short. Just not sure. AVAX, I had a really nice long trade I took. Basically this, excuse me. I made took a really nice trade on this one here. This demand zone down here, it was a little testy, kind of chopped in, but basically got most, if not all of this move, hit 2 of my targets. Really good. And the demand here on AVAX Avalanche seems to be holding pretty well. Doge. I love TradingView. Dogecoin. Dogecoin, I don't know if you saw that, but when I switched to Dogecoin, we had the Doge dog just pop in, do a little dance and pop away. They do that kind of stuff at TradingView. I love it. You guys are the best. Yeah, so Doge is kind of holding in there. Demand is holding. This is the supply here that is going to need to get broken before I'm even going to entertain going long. This is the supply up here. Okay, so we'll just see what happens with that. Dot, Dot came close to my zone down here, quite sideways. I have, obeying supply, obeying demand, kind of just shuffling in between those levels. We'll just have to see if something happens. If it breaks in here and moves up higher, very neutral on Dot right now. Tron, wow, what happened overnight here? Ooh. Okay, well, here we go. Okay, so Tron's moving up. Yeah, let's see here. 3 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, 30. Okay, so we've got... All right, so we could probably take something like this. We could probably take something like that. Or you know what's even better, guys? What's even better? If we're going to trade off the 1 hour, this one right here. This is going to be even better. The lower zone, typically, you guys, the lower zone, if it gets there. Now, you see how there's 2 levels here? There's a level here, and for sure, a powerful move. So this is a good demand zone. But, so there you got this top level, and you've got this bottom one. This top one is more likely to get hit. It's also more aggressive. So what I've come to do, and I've got 2 levels on top of each other. I'll take the bottom one. I'll just take the bottom one. I really like this, actually. This is good. Let's see how it looks on a 30 minute. Yeah, so 30 minute, you could kind of refine it even more. I don't know. I might just take it off the hourly. Yeah, I might just take that. And maybe I'll move my stop just to be safe, because these cryptos, you really just never know. I'll just go like that. And then I'd have like a 2-to-1 target, a 4-to-1 target, a net. 2-to-1, 4-to-1 gives me, if I hit both targets, a net of 3-to-1. But that looks good. Yeah, Tron's looking strong. Tron is looking strong. There must have been some kind of news or something. Link, another one that I'm looking to go short. Again, kind of just, it is... Yeah, it is obeying its demand so far. But this, I'm kind of... You can see we're making... It hit up supply up here when it came in up here, playing off of this supply. So I think the sellers are gaining control. We'll see. Internet computer, got some demand down here. We also have some serious demand down here. So I'm going to take a stab at this and see if it holds to move us higher. But if we break through, there is more demand down here, which is in this weekly zone, which looks really good. So Sheeb, wow, Sheeb, I should have kept in this one. I made some money on this move up. I moved my stop to break even, and obviously I got stopped out here. If I would have kept it open, yeah, I'd still be in a profitable trade now, but generally, uh, I just wasn't feeling too confident about it taking another bounce from this level, so I closed it. But we're all good. Last but not least, uni. Yeah, demand down here. I think this is off of a 1 hour chart. Yeah, there's a 1 hour zone right down there. Possibility. I don't know. I might take that. Supply up here. Again, just kind of moving sideways, staying above the average though. So sideways to bullish here on uni. All right, that's it for me. We got to hit the road here in a little bit to go visit some friends. But thank you for joining. 2 people that are on here, you're the best. Feel free to follow me. I get on here. I'll try to get on here a little bit more often now with good setups that I see. Got a little bit more time in my schedule, not too much, but things got switched up at work that allow me a little bit more free time during the week. So maybe I'll take advantage of that and put some more stuff on TradingView. You're the best. Thank you for your time, willingness, and attention today. Again, my name is Chris Salora, founder of Simple Renko Trading, and we'll see you next time. Have a great one, guys.